Welcome to Sunshine Art and Drawing. Today I'm going to be showing you this gorgeous book. It is Colouring Dragons. It features the artwork from John Howe from the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit movies, and it's a Pictura book, which means it's a panoramic book. They do a whole range of these books, as you can see here, but I wanted to show you this because I've nearly finished it. I've had this book for about a year, and every now and again I pick it up and I do a little bit more because it's quite a long sort of design. It's taken me quite a while to do it. So I did this first page using watercolor pencils, and I used just the Faber-Castell watercolor classic color pencils, very similar to these ones here, for all of this whole page, except for some small parts I used a gold pen, very similar to any kind of glittery gold pen that you can get, and I did just a couple of little accents like the little S and the little key and the eyes in that gold, just to give it a little bit of sort of highlight. And for a long time that was all I had done, and then slowly I've been doing more and more pages. So I finished off the background and then I moved on to these next ones, and I'm going to try and keep it just 2 pages at a time because it's quite long. And this is the next one that I did. This part here I did in watercolor pencil, and then this middle part I did with a mixture of watercolor pencil and some gold ink, which I used to accent the gold that the dragon is laying on. And then I used a bit of watercolor pencil to do this sort of gradient in grey up to the roof to show the smoke. And on this page I thought I would just do regular pencil and then use a black pen to do all these kind of like line art outlines, just to make it sort of stand out more and do a different style to the rest of it. And then the background I did in just regular colour pencil all throughout the background, and a little bit of watercolour on this edge to do the sky. And that leads us on to the next one. This whole water part here I did in watercolour, and I did pencil mixed together, blended kind of, it's sort of a little hard to blend, but all together down into the clouds. And I took my time kind of picking out the dragons and highlighting their little eyes and things like that, just so you can see how many dragons there are actually in the sea. There's even a few tiny ones down the front here, and then there's a couple of these kind of sea serpenty type dragons clinging onto this rock. And that moves us onto this giant tree. This is also the same image that is on the front, this tree, but it's just flipped. And I thought I would show it as maybe like a female dragon courting a male dragon or something like that. I thought I'd give it some sort of more feminine characteristics in lovely pink and purple, just as a different one, because it's sort of hard to find any sort of references to female dragons, except maybe in Shrek. And the next one is the ones that I've done the most recently. So I worked on this one in watercolour using the Faber-Castell tin of watercolours to do these dragons, and then picked out small highlights in pencil to give it a bit more definition. And also up here in the shadows of this dragon I did a little bit of pencil as well. I also did kind of like a spot pattern on their foreheads, on each one in a different coloured kind of shiny pen, a pen that's supposed to have a little bit of glitter in the ink. It's not a lot of glitter, it's just kind of a little subtle. I thought that was quite like a little sort of visual treat. And then this is the last one that I've done. It is a lovely orange and red dragon. It's supposed to be kind of like a fiery dragon, and he's also got that kind of spotty design like scales across his back. And I wanted this one to look like an autumn scene, like the sort of the weather is changing. As you can see, I've done like part of the tree in kind of an autumn theme, and then the ground looks like it's covered in just old leaves and breaking down kind of mulch and stuff like that from the leaves all building up all up against the side of the castle. And I did the castle itself using pastels to get this kind of stone colour. It's a little bit sort of hard to see, but there's about 4 or 5 different colours together to make that stony colour to be a bit more realistic. And then I used a little bit of pencil here and there to create some shadows, and I did all of the sort of little roofs in just sort of like a red pen to make them look like they're like terracotta tiles. And then all the little glints of light are supposed to be the windows. They're all just a little silver pen doing a little dash for each window just to make them stand out a bit more. And that way if you turn it, sometimes you get a couple of the windows catch the light, kind of like you would in real life. And I also did just a sort of a dark river this is supposed to be. It kind of is a bit disjointed, but I think that's because there's like a hill. But I did a little tiny bit of blue on there, so when you turn it sometimes you get just a little touch of glitteriness, and I did that also on this one down here as well. I just find it fun to use glittery pens or white pen to accent things. It just sort of adds a little touch of your own like style, rather than having it'll just be sort of the one flat colour. You can add a bit of interest in the way that if someone picks up the book and has a look at it, the light hits it and the little glittery parts light up. It's very cute, as you can see there. So I've left this one till last because this is the reason why I got this book. I saw this image and I wanted to do it, but I wanted to leave it till last because I wanted to do the rest of the book and then do this one with you guys. That's why I left it till last. So I'm going to put some music behind this and speed it up so that you can see how it turns out. So I'm just adding a few more little sort of edge lines around the shell and around the little dragon, just to sort of bring him out from the background, because I felt like it was kind of getting a bit washed out. So I figured if I put just a bit of a darker outline around the little baby dragon, it kind of brings it a bit more forward away from the mama dragon and makes it just a little bit easier to see, and also just adding a little bit more darkness into the pupils, a little bit more blending into the green, and a little highlight with a little bit of those gold and red ink gel pens. And now we are done. Just a touch of white. And that's the front cover. I took some photos outside in the sunlight so you can see all of the colours of each of the pages. And here are some nice close-up shots to give you a bit of an idea of how it all turned out in the end. And here's the full panorama shot of the entire thing, and let's have a bit of a look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. It's a year in the making, and you guys have a sunshiny day. Bye!